Howdy, everyone. Dangerous Room here, back with you. Sorry about last weekend, folks. Doing a lot of work around the house. Kind of got a little bit too busy, so I could not come on. But me and my brother Moose are back on the air,
Good
and uh,
evening.
and we got some good news yesterday, folks. Good news for the Second Amendment and our right to defend ourselves.
Self-defense is alive and well in the United States of America. Here, here.
Amen. I couldn't believe that prosecution coming out talking that garbage. Like, well, why didn't you just fist fight him? And it's like
He had a gun.
the guy was. Well, first of all, you got an AR-15 on you. Why anybody would antagonize you in the first place is just stupidity. And second
Right.
of all, the guy was just hostile. I mean, he was a multiple felon, multiple felonies. Why in the
The,
hell they let him out of prison is beyond me. But whatever, he got his comeuppance.
the good thing we can say is now women can still stop rapists and attackers using lethal force. Because
Amen.
if they'd have stopped this and saying, "Oh well, you don't have a right to self-defense anymore," we would all just be sheep headed for the slaughter. You've got to
Yeah.
be armed sheep so that when the wolves come for a discussion about what's for dinner, the sheep has a vote with a
Yeah.
with a gun.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So
Let
yeah,
me say hello to some of the folks in the chat. Do you see what I see? Good to see you. Um, I'm your Huckleberry. Good to see you, brother. John Mater, welcome. 12 Bravo. Good to see you, brother. Best Life. Certified Hood Classic. Real trap music.
don't know what that is, but
I
howdy.
have no idea what that is either, but if you enjoy this stream, then feel free to donate and like, share, subscribe, all that happy stuff. Hey, what's up, Jeremy? Anyways,
Hey
yeah,
Jeremy.
I took down a couple of notes, but we can get around to that once we get a few more people into the chat. So, Moose, how's your home life going? Health wise and otherwise?
Well, I'm still not where I want to be health wise. I'm doing a little bit better. I say I'm doing about 50-50, maybe a little more now. I've actually stopped taking the pain pills and dealing with the small amounts of pain that I have just so I can keep my bowels working properly. Unfortunately, pain medication is hard on your body and it stops you up. So I've been working on that, eating good. Our temperatures dropped here in Oklahoma. We're down in the low 70s, high 60s during the day and dropping down to almost freezing or in the 40s at night. So the leaves are dropping here. The color change is been beautiful here in southeast Oklahoma. We've got a little rain coming for this weekend and for Thanksgiving Day. And Monday, I will have been on this earth 66 years. But
Monday, huh?
Monday is November 22nd. That's the day John F. Kennedy was shot and killed on my 8th birthday. So
Damn.
I've never celebrated a birthday since that day because I never got my 8th birthday in school because they let school out early the day President Kennedy was shot. And it's just something that stuck with me. So I've never done an actual birthday celebration in all these years because of it. It's just
Well,
a
and
somber
I'll just
remembrance.
happy early birthday then, I guess. You
Well,
know?
thank you. But, yeah,
What's up, Tally? What's up, Ron? Joe
hey
Morgan, good to
Garrett.
see Garrett's in here. We got Jeremy in here, Luciano, reliable.
Yeah, be nice, Garrett, or I'll point harp at you.
Hey, what's up, Tom? Good to see you, my brother. What do you think? Should I send Tom a link? He's always fun to have up here.
Thanks, Tom. But I did see where it's funny. They've got some protests about the Kenosha verdict in cities like New York and some other big cities. I mean, come on, you people got nothing to do with that over there. And supporting,
The criminals.
the
Supporting the
criminals.
criminals.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
well, we were right before we came on. We were watching some of the news stuff, and there are actually news outlets that, or people out there, I should say, that are putting these people down as heroes. And it's like, really, okay, this guy's is like a 6-time convicted pedophile, and you're gonna call him a freaking hero? Are you kidding me? These people have just completely lost their ever loving minds, or they never had one to start with. One of the two.
They got no common sense. I mean, if you support criminals, that means you're a criminal because only criminals support other criminals. Good, honest, hard-working, decent folk have no use for criminals. So, don't try and put the narrative on the good guys because you're a bunch of criminals. Just like the
Yep.
news media and all are criminals as far as I'm concerned. If you're liars and you're up there lying to the American people, you're criminally uh, competent of what you're doing. You're a criminal if you're supporting all that bull crap. And like I said, a 17-year-old boy being chased by a man, child molested
No,
first,
he was doing what he did best,
right,
trying to assault youngsters.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm surprised. The one thing I will say, I was surprised that the defense did not bring up the FBI statistics about how many people are killed with feet and hands and with blunt objects like skateboards.
Hammers.
With the FBI statistics to show, yeah, I mean, that would have showed the jury, wait a minute, these people were armed. A foot is a weapon, a skateboard is a weapon, a Glock in the
Yep.
guy's hand is a weapon, whatever gun the other guy had is a weapon. It's pure and plain self defense. Nobody ran up there and just started hitting them with their fists or trying to take control of him. Basically, they started attacking him physically. So
Yep.
that's
And they
an
tried to
attack.
steal his gun.
And
And they
tried to
tried
take
to
his gun.
disarm him. They
Yep.
tried to disarm him. And I mean, you got to keep in mind this kid has worked with the police on and off for God knows how many years,
Yep.
And so, probably he learned a lot about defense. And one of the things about a cop, go try and take a gun off a cop and see what he doesn't do. He will turn that gun around on you and blow you away.
Right.
Period. That is how they're trained.
Right.
So,
Attempting to take a police officer's weapon is a felony, and to stop a felony, you can use all the deadly force you need. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Moose. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Still old as dirt.
I just stretched out on the couch for a minute. I guess that was about an hour ago. Just now came to, man.
still relaxing after all the family, huh?
No, my cousin sent me home with a magnolia tree and some kind of flowering bush. I'm too foggy to remember it. But he lives in my grandfather's house down there in South Carolina. So I got What is the name of that thing? It don't matter.
So,
Anyway, I've got to figure out how to get these plants that came from South Carolina in the ground and then make them live through the winter.
oh, geez.
I don't know whether that's going to work or not up here in West Virginia.
Put,
You-
put them in
yeah.
buckets, Tom. Put them in buckets with soil and keep them inside for the time being.
Yeah,
Even though
that's
just
what
don't let
I
the
was
roots
about to
freeze.
say.
Well, I done set the one out. It's already in the ground. He said that it'll be fine. He's some big agricultural expert down there, and he should know, but I don't know.
Yeah. You might have to put a cover over it though. I mean, depending on how tender a plant it is, it may need like a box or a plastic tub or something that lets sunlight through in there, but keep snowing that off of it. I don't
Well,
know. I've lost a
website
lot
I
down
read.
here in Oklahoma.
You're in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I've lost a lot of trees here in Oklahoma.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing I read said build a chicken wire cage around them and fill it with leaves. So, I mean, they're going to freeze. Let's face that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to kind of ease them into it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red wanted a magnolia tree here in Oklahoma too. I didn't want to have to deal with all the leaves and stuff that they drop and the mess that they make. But
I just wanted it because it came out of that particular yard. Hydrangea, that's the other plant.
hydrangeas, yeah,
Yeah.
we've got hydrangeas.
Um,
Don't know if they survived this year or not the way the weather was. And I think I lost my kiwi the other night. It got froze before I knew it was going to drop down below freezing here. It wasn't supposed to drop that cold. I've been trying.
My dad
grow
passed
kiwi
away when
from
I
a
was-
little stem. Now it's about.
My dad passed away when I was 5 years old, and he grew up in that house that my cousin lives in now. So all that stuff's kind of special to me. It's silly, I guess, but
No,
um,
it's sentimental.
yeah, that's what it is. I just I had lost total contact with those people, my whole family, after my dad died, and we just found them about 5 or 6 years ago. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know those folks again. And surprisingly, they're nice people being related to me. It shocked the hell out of me.
Oh my God, something wrong with that.
Yeah, who would have thought it? How was your Saturday, Ron? Did you get all that paint finished and all that?
Yeah. Well, technically, all I've got is yeah. It's pretty much all done. All I need to do is my son took out part of my awning, the front part of my awning, because he had that big old truck with the ladder rack on it, and he was backing out one day, and all I heard was crunch. And I'm like, oh crap! And I go out there, and the front part of my eave is laying on the ground, bent up.
Oh,
So I
man.
gotta figure out how to straighten that out, and then hang that thing back up, and then refit that first panel back into the grooves, which I think I'll be able to do. I've had enough experience with awnings; it should be no problem. And it just depends. I haven't gotten up there with the ladder yet and checked out just the extent of the damage, whether it ripped all the way through or whether it just kind of ripped out, in which case I could put another hole in a new spot and hold it down that way. But
You pound out the dents and all that.
yeah. So, anyways, other than that, yeah, we're pretty well done with the painting and stuff. So,
All right. I tell you, anytime I started working with sheet metal, I just went ahead and started bleeding. It seemed to save time.
yeah, you toughen up to it over the years.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when I first started making all the different bracelets and started welding, colors together. You got to fuse them together, and you got to use, your fingers. And I mean, you could use gloves, I suppose, but I don't. And so I mean, the first couple of times, yeah, I got pretty good blisters on my fingers, but Now they're calloused over. So
Yeah, man, that stuff come off and stick to your fingers while it's still hot. That's
oh
all.
yeah. Last night, yeah, I had to wait for it to cool down before I could peel it off of my finger. So, anyways, what did you think about the Rittenhouse verdict?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh man, that was the only way I wanted it to go. I was worried. I was really wondering if that jury was going to succumb to the fear of,
yep,
what the neighborhood might do, but they came through.
that they did, man.
Yeah.
What's up, Aaron?
And that boy is going to own CNN.
He should. He should actually. All right. The other night, Tucker Carlson did a couple of things. First of all, Monday he's going to have an interview with Kyle.
Saw that.
And then also, at the same time, he also was doing an interview with Nick Sandman. Remember the other kid that was in D.C. and they were beating the drums in front of him, and CNN
Yeah.
and all these other places slandered him.
Hannity
And,
had him on the other night.
Yeah, so I mean, he's already a multi-millionaire, and so considering what he had to go through related to what Kyle's going to have to go through. He kind of reached out to Kyle, which I thought was a very nice gesture on his
Oh
part.
yeah.
Because after a trial like that, if I was Kyle, I'd be like, I never want to see a courtroom again, blah blah. But then again, with everything going on and all the slander and defamation that happened during this entire freaking year, I wouldn't blame him for being standing up and saying, you know what, screw these people. You know what, these people have labeled me a white supremacist and telling me I just went out there to kill people when we just got proven that's not the case. So hopefully he
Hey, Ron, the thing is, that kid is never going to be able to hold a job. He's never going to be able to go to college. Hell, he probably won't be able to leave the house for a while.
He will.
Oh,
he will.
He will.
Think about the number of people that hate that kid, that are going to hate that kid.
That's too bad. Haters are going to hate.
Hey,
But
I'll
he's
tell
still
you what,
going to have to have his life.
Let him
Check
score
this out,
$2,
check
$3
this
million
out.
in lawsuits and buy an island and retire at 20 years old and enjoy his life. That's how I feel.
Well, you know what?
If he
All right,
needs a job,
he's
I'll hire him.
he's already talking. He's already talking about going to college, and he wants to come down here to Arizona.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, come on down, man. If he comes down here and I find out, I'm going to go to one of his college parties, and I'm going to go up and shake his hand and give him a bro hug and be like, dude, you showed such awesome restraint, brother. I don't know how you did it, but you did it, man. God must have been watching down on you that night, and in the courtroom as well.
Before the show, Gun Owners of America sent me an email, and they're sending Kyle a new AR-15.
Oh, is that right?
If he doesn't want it, they'll auction it off to send him the money for a college fund or whatever. But we're all sending him a note of respect through the GOA. So any of you Gun Owners of America members should get the email to send Kyle a note encouraging him,
Really,
for what he did.
I am a member of the GOA, and I am not seeing.
I got the email tonight and sent him a nice little note.
You got it tonight, huh? No, they haven't sent me that. They haven't sent me the email. I mean, granted, I know I'm still a member because they sent me the monthly updates and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I don't know about the end of the MSM, Luciano. I mean, that would be great. instead of defunding cops, just defund the fucking media. Oh yeah, Daniel, that's true. See, I like me and Moose were talking beforehand. He could always put it up on a nice gun rack. Once he gets into his new mansion, once he wins all of millions of dollars from all these defamation lawsuits, and then maybe someday when he's 75, and have his grandson down on his lap, or he's sitting next to him, in front of the fireplace, and the grandson will look up and say, "Dad, why do you keep that gun up there?" I was like, "Well, you know what, son? That gun saved your grandpa's life one time."
Yeah.
And so I mean, I understand how some people would want to keep the rifle, the actual rifle, and others wouldn't because it's like, man, I had to kill people with this. I know it's killed people.
I can understand if you never wanted to see it again.
Yeah, I can understand it both ways.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
still
all,
wanted to see Binger hand it back to him. I want to see Binger hand it back to him.
Not Binger. He'll hand up muzzle first. With his damn finger on the trigger. What an idiot.
Loaded with hollow points.
Yeah, the ones that explode.
Yeah. Well, I swear all these Sierra Match Kings that I use with that little tiny hollow point, I've never had one of them explode. All mine must be defective because all they do is punch a beautiful hole through paper at 600 yards.
Daniel.
Oh, paper's not enough to make them expand.
Daniel, that is
Fired one into a bucket of water.
They won't. Yeah, they don't do nothing. There's only a little tiny hole that forms an air pocket. It's not deep at all. I mean, it ain't much bigger than the head of a pin hole is all there is. It's to form it forms an air dam in front of the bullet as where air compresses into that hole. It actually forms an air bubble right in front of that bullet as it pushes through the atmosphere to keep it lowers the resistance just slightly and lets the Sierra bullet travel truer farther for an accurate round. But that's all that little hollow point does. You can shoot gelatin. It's just like a full metal jacket. There's
Really?
not enough. Yeah, there's not enough surface area to
Make it expand.
Make it expand. It's not like a pistol hollow point.
All right. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one a little bit, Moose, because I've bought several different AR hollow points, and like you said, some of them are like they take maybe a 16th or 1/8 inch drill, and drill it out, and then others use a bigger one. Now I've shot pumpkins with both, and the bigger hollow points, even with an AR, man, they will blow the backside of that pumpkin right out. I can't see it that well. Your camera's kind of grainy.
That's a 223 hollow point, and the reason you can't see it is because that hole is so small.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they also make bigger ones too. What's up, Pablito?
But not for the 223. Not for the 223 is what I'm telling you. There's not. And even for the 7.62 by 39, there's not that big of a hollow point. I can't.
Well, all right. And see, this is where I'm gonna have to disagree with you still, Moose. I have shot.
How can you disagree with me?
Because I have shot pumpkins with the smaller size hollow points and the larger size hollow points. The smaller ones, like you said, they act like full metal jacket.
Right.
The bigger ones, on the other hand, they go into the pumpkin and they blow out the back end.
Pistol caliber have a large hole.
I've seen two sides.
Pistol.
Now, does that mean that I'm going to take my smaller hollow points and I'll take a bigger drill bit and try and do that on my bullet? I'm not doing nothing like that. I'm just saying I've had the bigger style hollow points on a 223, 5.56, whatever. So I mean,
these are the biggest hollow points there are for 223. There are no big hollow points for 223. Now there's soft point and there's full metal jacket. If he'd have been using soft point, it would have been a whole
One of
different
these
story
days, one of these
as a
days,
hunting knife.
I'll pull the two out, put them side by side. I mean, the size difference is almost minute. Yeah, you know, it's like you almost got a not quite a magnifying glass, but you can tell a difference between a 1/16 hole and a 1/8 hole. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
sure.
This hole right here is probably maybe 10 thousandths in diameter and maybe 10 thousandths deep for a Sierra hollow point match king grade bullet. That's what I shoot right there. They're
Okay.
match kings, and they're actually legal to use under the Geneva Convention for anti-personnel because they mimic ball ammo. The hole, that little tiny hole, just
Mm,
forms a little air cushion ahead as the air compresses when the bullet's flying. It forms a little bubble of high pressure there to let the air go around the bullet smoother. Is all it does for accuracy.
it still doesn't explode though, does it?
No, they none of them explode. They still, when you start talking the larger hollow points in handgun bullets, now we're talking something that when it hits soft flesh, it will pedal out. I've got
Yeah.
those two for 45. I got them for 9 millimeter. I've got them for 380. I've got them for 38, 38, 357. A pistol bullet with a large hollow point, yes, is going to do more damage, but and even a 40 caliber hollow point hits a 2x4, it will not expand. It will cut a hole and it will fill up with wood shavings because there's nothing there to hydraulic like soft flesh and human body moisture, blood, whatever will do on a hollow point to open it up. But
Hmm.
yeah, the 22s hollow points do not explode. They're just like full metal jackets. I mean,
I think I've actually got a 22 hollow point here somewhere. But anyways, yeah, I was just saying that I have found that they made hollow points for the 223 that have a larger hole
what
created in
brand?
them.
What brand? I need to know because I can't find any.
Man, I would have to go to my ammo box and dig them out. Um, but you know what?
Okay.
If you stick around, and I can't show them on here.
Yeah.
YouTube has these new gun laws, gun regulations.
They
You
say
know, it's
guns. They
like
didn't say ammo.
even showing bullets live stream is probably a no for them. Hell, they don't even like us talking about
I
guns
didn't show
before.
live ammo. I just showed a bullet, a projectile. But
Well, it's a projectile.
because I've shot every brand of projectile there is. I mean, from Nosler, Barnes, Sierra, uh, Spear, Hornady, Burger. I shoot all of them, and I know how they
Yeah.
perform. I know what they'll do and what they won't do.
Well,
So
I'm
had
not going
theirs.
for match grade. Yeah, I'm not going for match grade on this. I'm wanting devastation. And I mean, like I said, I saw what they did to the pumpkins, and then again, 40 caliber hollow points do quite a bit of damage to pumpkins as well.
My
So,
little slow moving 45 hollow points will blow a pumpkin up and blow a hole out the back end of it that big around. But
what's up, Ron?
my 45
Outdoor adventure.
full metal jackets will punch a hole through and still blow a big hole out the outside because of the diameter of the bullet and that impact being imparted to a pumpkin, which is water based vegetable matter. You get a shock wave to what causes the damage.
Yeah. So, anyways, since we're about half an hour in here, and I was watching Legally Armed America. And I don't know if you follow his channel. If not, his name is Paul. Can't remember exactly how he spells his last name. But anyways, he runs a channel called Legally Armed America. Good channel. He's definitely outspoken in his community, and he did it. He's done a couple videos on the Kyle case, but yeah, he brought up a really good point tonight that I thought I would bring back up. Is you know, just in the last year or two, we have seen gun sales soar
Oh yeah.
throughout America. It's just soar. Brand new gun owners, granted, there's a lot of longtime gun owners that went out and got new weapons and whatever, but just the amount of new people into this, and when they were watching the Kyle Rittenhouse case, because most of them went out there to buy something to defend their life and their family and their property, and then this Kyle Rittenhouse case comes up, and they're like, well, no, you're not allowed to defend you're not allowed to defend your property or your life or whatever, and it's like, a lot of these people were probably thinking, well, why in the hell did I go out and get a gun if I'm not even going to be allowed to fucking use it?
Right.
And and then thank God the jury saw through to justice, and all 5 counts, not guilty, totally acquitted, and the prosecution, well, don't even get me started on the prosecution, but anyways, so at least for them, they can have a little bit more comfort in knowing that yes, in America, you are still allowed your Second Amendment right and your right to defend yourself and your property and your family and your community. So,
And in
I
most
mean, that,
places, there's no need to retreat either. You don't have a duty to retreat.
yeah. Well, in Kenosha, you don't. Some states you actually do, which is ridiculous. I
Yeah,
always
they want
found
you to
that.
be a coward and run away, screaming, ah, be a coward and run away instead of turning and meeting the challenge with a gun.
I know. You know what? It's like, okay, go cower in the corner of your bedroom, wait for him to come in the bedroom, and then you can shoot him.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
But then
This
if
was
you're on the
like,
first floor, if you're on the first floor and there's a 4-foot window that you could have climbed out, they'll probably try and charge you for that. You know what I mean? Well, why didn't you
yeah,
go out the
yeah.
window? I just, some of these states have such bullshit fucking laws.
This was like a bunch of wolves gathered around a sheep named Kyle with an AR-15 discussing what was for supper, and the
Yep.
sheep got the last word in.
Yes, he did.
That's the way we've got to look at it. We have to be meek people, but carrying our weapons in a responsible manner, using them, not brandishing, not threatening, but when the time comes that you have to defend yourself because you are in fear of your life, you best be prepared to drop that safety and squeeze that trigger and make that shot count. You only got one or two shots normally, so
Yeah.
make them count. But that's the thing. It's called responsible gun ownership, responsible gun handling, and always safety first.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Which the prosecution did not show any of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
I'm
I'd have been on
surprised some
that
deputy didn't step
jury,
up
I'd have
and
been
grab that
ducking.
right.
Well, a lot of people were asking why the bolt wasn't locked back, and I've never actually seen one of the locks for the bolt on an AR-15. So I asked my buddy, Navy vet, and he went ahead and sent me a picture of the one that goes through and locks the bolt. You know, and I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen that one before. I mean, I've seen them for handguns and stuff like that. They got all kinds of locks for those, but I've never seen one that actually locks the bolt back in place on a
All
rifle.
your AR-15s have that lock mechanism. You pull the tab on the left side of the gun. That's your bolt lock. You pull the bolt back and reach up there and grab that tab and pull it out, and your bolt is locked back. Every AR-15 has it.
Well, okay, I get what you're saying on that, but then again, that's easy to just smack it and then it'll push forward. I mean, because like when I'm running a magazine on the last
Yeah,
round, the bolt locks back because
right.
it's meant
That's the
to do that.
part that does it.
And then you
That's the
eject
part
it,
that
you
does it.
put in a new magazine, you hit that little button, and boom, you're ready to rock and roll again. See,
Right.
now for mine, it's always been, you have to have a magazine in there that's empty for it to lock back.
Right.
As
Or
far
you
as
just do it
going out,
manually.
or
Yeah,
even
you just
like
do
you
it
say, or
manually.
do it manually, but at the same time, it's easy enough to just smack that switch and boom, it's forward again. But there is actually a bolt lock, and I'm surprised they did not have one on there actually, considering how deadly that rifle is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised
Evil.
they didn't have a yellow chamber flag in. They should have had a
I
yellow
know.
chamber flag in,
I don't know what that is.
which shows you don't know what a chamber flag is. It's a rod. It's a yellow plastic rod about that long with
Oh, okay. Yeah, it kind
a
of pokes
bolt.
out. Yeah.
Put it into the chamber, and then the bolt stops at the flag, and the flag is sticking out of the side of
Okay.
the gun to show that the gun is safe.
All right.
That's a
I've
chamber
seen
flag.
what you're talking. I didn't know they called it a flag. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen a lot of those for pistols and stuff like that. That way they know that one is, it's unloaded or whatever. But okay, they call it a
I
flag.
got some around here somewhere in a box. I don't even use them. Mine stay loaded.
What's up, Blaine? What's up, Ronnie? We're just
Hey,
sitting here having
Blaine,
a conversation about guns and
reliable.
constitutional topics. Let's see what else is.
Yeah.
Well, you heard that Kamala was instated as president there for at least a day or so.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Well,
don't
it
know.
must have kept her sedated, though. She didn't do anything stupid that I've heard of so far.
When I heard that, I was like, man. But then it's like, what kind of hell could she raise? Because she knows Biden ain't dying. He just went in there for a regular procedure. Which
Yeah.
most
Well, they did a colonoscopy, and they found his head was still up his ass, but they couldn't remove it.
they were looking for his brains. And they're like, nope, they're not up here.
I don't think that even was a colonoscopy. I think that man went through surgery to keep him from shitting himself. If you notice, they never did debunk that story about him messing
Yeah,
himself at the Vatican.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think that was some kind of surgery. I'm ashamed to say I've never had a colonoscopy, but are you sedated like that? I mean, sedated maybe, but do you
Yes,
go under anesthesia?
yes, they put me under full anesthesia, knocked me
Did
out,
they?
and then they blew up. They run an air hose up your butt and blow you up with air pressure, and then they run a camera in there. They run a camera all up inside you, all looking around in there, examining the walls and looking for polyps. And they got a little tool. If there's a polyp, they'll clip it off. They'll
Right.
look for cancer and everything else. And that's actually what happened to me was they overinflated me 3 weeks before my prostate cancer surgery, and they diverticulated my intestines where I had to have an emergency colon resection. They had to remove 8 inches of my colon that they had damaged, that they ended up damaging, that didn't show any signs of as far as having a white blood cell count. It was all infected, and I was like 48 hours from going septic peritonitis, which could have killed me. And they'd only discovered it by going in with the camera to do the surgery and seeing that area, and had to abort and do an emergency colon resection on me. But they had done the colonoscopy on me 3 weeks before, and they put me under and did all that, and then woke me back up out of it. If he had had surgery, Tom, I think he would not be out of the hospital, because he'd still be in the hospital recovering. So I think it was just a colonoscopy.
That's possible.
I was almost 7 days in the hospital when they did my colon resection.
Really?
You have to learn how to get your bowels going. It took 3 or 4 days for my bowels to start working again. And I was under all kind of drugs and IVs, antibiotics, and all that stuff, and really out of it for days.
And they did all that damage and didn't even know it.
Right. Didn't even know it.
Damn. Well, screw that.
Yep.
That's another reason not to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never have to have another colonoscopy though now. because of them
Really?
having to resection my colon. Yeah, they can't do a colonoscopy on me. It would be too dangerous.
Uh,
And I don't have to have the finger wave either because I don't have a prostate anymore.
there
Hooray.
you go.
Damn, that sucks. Ugh. So, anyways, on to something more bright. Let's see. Well, there were no riots, really, so to speak, last night. That was a good thing. I mean, yeah, there were
It was
people
too
out
cold in
there.
Kenosha.
Well, there were people still, quite a few of them out there walking about, and just yelling a bunch of stuff. But nobody was burning down buildings, throwing bricks and stuff like that I've seen. So
No, I haven't heard. There was some protests in New York City, um, but nothing violent.
exactly, yeah.
But you see, the Democrats
I
didn't
heard
have
they
anything
shut
to
down
do
a
with
roadway.
it. Did they really?
I heard they shut down a roadway somewhere for a while, but with massive people. But
Yeah, I think that was in New York. I might have heard that. So they had all that violence a year ago because Trump was still in office and the Democrats wanted to be the savior. And they, we can end this. So I'd say they called Antifa and BLM off on this one.
and it's funny you talk about BLM. Kyle was a part Native American, and he didn't shoot any black people that night. He shot white
No.
criminals. What the
Yep.
hell's BLM got to do with it?
I don't know.
If
But
if BLM was legit, they would be in Chicago getting the goddamn gangs and guns off the street. If Black Lives did matter, they would be fighting in Chicago to stop all the blacks killing blacks. And I'm sorry, that's the way I
Yep.
feel about it. You people are a lying joke. You're funded by a radical socialist, Soros,
Yep.
for a cause you
Marxist.
are not even aware that you're doing. And it ain't because Black Lives matter, because Black Lives don't matter shit to these socialists.
no,
Nobody's lives
no
matter.
lives, dude. No lives matter to them.
They don't even matter to BLM. The president of BLM bought a $3 million house in a white neighborhood, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
What's she
Right.
doing to help black people?
Right.
That
They're
did
only
wake
helping
up.
themselves.
That did wake up some of the members, but not all of them. I mean, we still see them out there. They listen to CNN or MSN, and they're automatically triggered because they're lies, and that's what they do. And they go out there, and it's like, no, he killed two people. It's like, no, he killed two criminals that were trying to attack him.
Yeah.
And the right to self-defense is not a crime. And that there was a woman out there one night that had a large sign that said as much. Self-defense is not a crime. And later in the evening, when all the protesters started showing up, they were holding signs with these two criminals up there and calling them victims and heroes or whatever. And it's like, God, you people are so dumb. How, like, seriously, God, if you knew the fucking charges against, we'll just take Rotten Bottom for an example. Dude, 6 counts of pedophilia, as far as I remember. Not to mention how many times he's gotten, aggravated assault or assault. Just like he was just an honorary guy, already done a lot of prison time. I think he did like 10 years or some crap. And they shouldn't have let him out, personally. But you know what? He got what he got. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You see a guy with an AR-15, am I gonna go up to him and be like, I'm gonna kick your
Try to
fucking
grab-
ass, get you alone, I'm gonna kill you? No, I'll be like, hey, nice weapon, man.
Yeah.
Well, that dude had just been released from a mental hospital that day. They wanted to stress hospital, but it was the damn mental ward. And he's out there at a BLM riot using the N-word. screaming the N-word.
Right.
Repeatedly.
Yeah.
Right. And where was BLM on his ass? Nobody was on his ass about it.
You know, there were
But
quite
if
a
Kyle
few
had
of the
used it one time, if Kyle had said it one time, if Kyle had said the N word one time on tape, the jury would have hung his ass because that was
No
all
doubt.
the prosecution would have stood for. White supremacist. He used the N word. Yeah. Okay.
No doubt.
So
more reliable. BLM is a phony organization. To me, yeah. Well, you know, we've already got a BLM. It's called the Bureau of Land Management. Um, you know, this new
in
one
Alaska,
is just it's just a Marxist fucking trademark.
Totally Marcus. Have you ever read their
in,
charter?
in Alaska, the BLM called themselves the Bureau of Large.
Large moose.
My friends that worked at BLM, goddamn buffering again. My friends at BLM in Alaska called it the Bureau of Large Mistakes.
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. I thought you were gonna say moose.
Bureau of Large Mistakes. My friends in Alaska called BLM the Bureau of Large Mistakes. Uh-oh.
Their entire charter
Not looking good.
was based on, I can't remember the word they used, but basically what they want is to get males out of positions of authority in the family, if not completely out of the family. It's basically to destroy the central family unit that we all grew up with.
Hmm.
And when no father in the home, kids are screwed up
Yeah, apparently they're
Yeah.
screwed up with the father and the family
with
too.
some. Yeah.
Some of them, yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like last night, me and my youngest boy had kind of a blow up, you know, because I mean, he was just being so disrespectful. And I'm like, you know, he's like, well, you know what? You got to deserve respect. And I was like, you got to give respect to get respect. You know, when you come out here talking your trash like you are, one of these days you're going to walk up on the wrong person and say the wrong thing, and they're not going to be as nice as me.
No.
You know, whether they punch you in the face or shoot you in the face. You know, and so anyways, well, this morning we woke up, both of us in a better mood, and you know, so yeah, but my son, my oldest boy, came out, actually came on camera with me for a little bit. Um, very distinguished young man. Very proud of him. Very proud of him. But you know, it's like we got to work on his brother, man. We got to work on his brother, and his brother turned 17 on the 24th, and it's like, man, you know, doesn't have a license, doesn't have a job. Now, granted, you know, trying to get a job right now, I guess he's been tried, put in a few applications, but everybody wants somebody that's 18 or older.
Right.
And it's like, you know, somebody with a vehicle, whatever. And it's like, come on. Now, there's got to be places out there still that'll hire a 16-year. I mean, my first job, I started at 15 years old. My first real job, I was a busboy. All right. I went around with a cart and I picked up old plates and, you know, picked up glasses and, you know, brought out water to people and tell them, hey, your hostess or your waitress will be out here shortly and blah, blah. And I mean, yeah, I did pretty well at that job. I got enough tips that, you know, I could live on. And plus, I got a paycheck at the end of the week, too. You know,
Yep.
granted, it wasn't a huge paycheck, but back then, you didn't need a huge paycheck. We're talking the 80s. Yeah, back in the 80s, the inflation was not that freaking bad. But now, dude, oh, today, check this out. Our gas prices, they went from, what was it? It was at the beginning of 2021, it was 212, 219, 219, I'd say, for a gallon.
219 here too.
Well, now we had gone up to 337. Then we went up to 358, 367. Now we are up to 383.
Damn, for the low grade.
Yep. For that's
Wow.
the cheapest regular gas. 383 was 382 and 9/10, which is basically 383.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I was like, what the I saw that. I was like, what? All right, I need those donation folks. I can't keep driving around mailing all this shit out if I don't get enough money. Now it's not just shipping. Now it's going to have to be more shipping and handling. And I understand why shipping rates are going up. Like somebody was telling me, one of my friends was telling me, go directly to the post office. You get cheaper rates. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. Because normally I've got this one shipping place I go to. They've got FedEx, UPS, all the different rates and stuff like that. But I went directly to the U.S. Post Office this time, and they I think they actually charged me a little bit more than if I would have gone to my regular place. So
Really?
that one's at to send one of these bracelets is about 450, folks. I'll be honest, that's the shipping rate.
Yep.
Wow.
Now
Yeah.
that's in America.
Yeah.
If you go outside of America, like my brother
Yeah.
John Plett, JP as he goes by,
JP.
he's in Canada. For him, it was like $15. It took him about 2.5 weeks to get it. I've got my other brother Daniel in here, and he's in Greenland. And I'm once I got his stuff made, I was like, all right, I'm going to send it out. Do you want to make bets on how much it's going to cost and how long it'll take it to get there? And we, I was like, I bet about $20 for shipping, and I bet you it's going to take about 2.5, 3 weeks to get it. And I was pretty close on that one.
Those things can't be that heavy. I guess it's the size of the package.
No,
Size of
there's
the little small envelopes.
little manila envelopes.
The little padded envelopes that cost
Little
50
pad.
cents at dollar store.
Right.
Yeah, it's $4 and something to ship now because they won't ship them as first class. Now
Oh, they
they ship
won't.
them as a package.
Okay.
Right. They changed the rules on them because it used to be $1 and something to ship a padded envelope with something in it.
Right. I mean, as long as it
Now
didn't
it's
weigh very
$4.
much.
Yeah, now it's $4 minimum for that priority tracking. It gets tracked and all though too now.
All right, good night, over reliable. But I like the people up there at the other place. Not to mention when I walked into the post office, they had one of those large poster boards that said masks are required to enter this building. And I was like, well, I ain't got a mask, so I'm gonna try it anyways. And I walked in there, and everybody behind the counter had a mask on, but everybody in front of the counter, only one had a mask on. And I was like, all right, well, apparently that does not apply to all of us.
I just tell them I'm wearing a mask. I'm hiding all the ugly that's underneath.
Hey, this is my mask right
There you
here.
This is my mask. Yeah.
What's up, Vanessa? What's up,
Yeah,
Matrix?
a lot of people need to wear masks anyway because they scare little children.
Hey, what's up, Mikey? You delivering papers at 10 years old? At 10 years old, what was I doing? I was still me and the local kids, me and the local boys, mostly. We had reservoirs. They were like 20 foot by 20 foot culverts that were about maybe 12 feet deep. Just like retention pond type things. And what we would do is we'd go down there and we would take shovels or our hands, and we would make ramps, dirt ramps, and then we, of course, we were riding bikes at that point, and so we'd make our own little tracks to go up and down, because you can get pretty good speed going down, in about a 40-degree incline.
Said I pulled weeds out of the neighbor's gardens for a quarter an hour. A bottle of pop was only a dime back then.
Yep.
So
Yeah. I remember a nickel Coke and a nickel bag of peanuts
really,
right down the road. The little 6.5 ounce Coke and was a nickel, but you couldn't leave the premises with the bottle because it had a deposit.
2 or 3 cents on the bottle. I remember that.
3 cents on the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to have a game because the bottom of the bottle had a location of where the bottle was made. And we used to play a game to see whose bottle was from the farthest away.
Those little green Coke bottles you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
everyone's
that.
got a town and a state where they were made. Yep.
Uh-huh.
The farthest one I ever got away was Hilo, Hawaii in Florida. I got a bottle from Hilo. Yep.
Well, I appreciate it, Mikey G. Yeah, a lot of people used to get the Sunday paper, because that had all the ads and all the best cartoons and stuff. Yeah, that was long before Coke ever thought about getting woke.
Yep.
Man, what a stupid move. What a stupid
If
move.
you can find the Coke in the 6.5 ounce bottle that's made in Mexico now, it is the old original Coke from back in, like we had as kids in the 50s and 60s. It's got the real sugar in it instead of corn syrup, but it tastes a lot better.
Coke did taste better
real
back
Coke,
then.
but it's made
I really
in
don't care
Mexico.
for Coke right now. But
Yeah.
when we were kids, that stuff was good.
If you find the Coke that comes in made in Mexico, that's the real stuff, the old time stuff. It's better.
That's interesting.
Neighbor made homemade root beers. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'd have a different kind of brewery system going on personally, but no, I used to love going to A&W and getting root beer floats when I was a kid. Hell, I still like them today,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
But you just don't see very many of them around anymore. Yeah, I mean, you could go out and buy the A&W and
They had a good cheeseburger.
throw a scoop of ice cream in there, but not quite the same. Gas is 326. And Patrick, that's what I was just saying.
A&W used to have awesome cheeseburgers.
Patrick, that's what I was just saying. And just here in Arizona, we went up to 383 today. Well, I don't know if it was today or yesterday or the day before, but yeah, we're coming up on that $4 mark as well. It's absolutely, and it's like I want to go out and get a bunch of those. I did this with the Biden pointing at the whatever, whether it be on the price of bacon or be on the price of gas. It's like I did this.
Mm-hmm.
And I
You
mean,
sure
I
did.
never get tired of those memes. Those are too funny. Hey, yeah, you know what used to cost you $4? Now it's going to cost you 8. So how do you like me now?
Well, I don't know where I saw, but a lady had posted that her fuel oil to heat her home was almost twice what she paid for it last year. How are these people going to survive?
I don't know. I questioned that to my dad the
They're not
last time I
wanting to.
talked. I questioned my dad on that the last time I talked to him because he's retired and I mean he's got another pension, But I was like, are they improving your cost according to the, the inflation? He's
Hell no.
like, no, they keep it at a steady 1% a year rate. You get a 1% increase per year, and the cost of the inflation is going
5%
way,
right now.
way beyond that.
Yeah. And then my wife, I won't say how old she is, but she just qualified for Medicare. We'll put it that way. And that was like $115 out of her check.
Yeah.
Outdoor Adventures had to drink a Jack and Pepsi. My son last night after he got home, he was like, I want to have something to drink, and he was talking about getting some Bacardi, and I'm like, okay, well, Bacardi's good. I mean, I don't have a problem with rum, but I was like, vodka's good too. But he went ahead and went out and bought some Bacardi and Pepsi. He didn't buy Coke. He bought Pepsi.
I try and buy RC cola if I can find it. Royal Crown Cola. I like RCs.
Yeah. Yep. My initials.
Right on.
Right.
Yeah. Propane. Yeah. Propane's getting super expensive as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I'm glad Red bought that big tank and had it filled up before all this stuff. We saw the light back months ago and had a great big brand new propane tank delivered and had it filled up and hooked up so we can cook for the next 5, 6 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my generator runs on propane, and I had it filled up toward the end of the summer. And it hurt, but it didn't hurt as bad as it would now.
Yeah. And then I've got the spare 125-gallon tank, I think, filled up and sitting over by my shop too. So I got a spare big tank sitting over there in case I wanted to run heat to my shop, or I can run a line in and do smelting, or I can
Oh
put a forge to it, or whatever I need to do. So I got extra propane stored because it doesn't go bad.
Right.
no. Outdoor Adventures. I caught that. Yeah, it's hard to drink a Jack and Pepsi. Although my
No, it's
sister,
not.
my sister does it all the time. See, I don't. Me personally, I can tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi. I always could. Pepsi had a lot more sugar in it. But now, when you want to talk about like what Moose was saying, Royal Crown compared to Coke is a lot closer than Pepsi. Yeah, it's just too sweet. But he ended up
Yeah.
buying Pepsi. But I've always asked the question, because most people when they go into a bar and get a mixed drink, a lot of them get a Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
It's been a thing for decades. I'll have a Jack and Coke, and very popular drink. But now a lot of people that are waking up, like myself, it's like, well, I'm not gonna buy anything from Coca Cola anymore. So it's like it's either Pepsi or it's gonna be RC or it's gonna be generic,
Yeah.
Sam's Cola, whatever.
We used to drink Jack and 7 Up too. Jack and
Yeah.
7 Up we used to drink.
Most bars don't even handle Pepsi products, do they? I thought it was all Coke products in a bar.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
I haven't been in a bar in 30 years, so I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
they don't usually, but you're
Yep.
right. The ones I usually frequented, no,
It was all
Pepsi
Coke.
was not on tap. They
No.
did have Coke, they'd have 7 Up and stuff like that, but
I haven't been to a bar. I have never been to a bar in Oklahoma yet.
How long have you lived there, Moose?
There ain't none that looks appeasing to me to go to, other than our casino has a bar in it.
If I was a rookie cop, I would plant my ass quarter mile from the bar and clean up.
mhm.
You know, Get all kinds of brownie points. Bars lost their appeal a long time ago. I figured a man never gets in
There's a
trouble
bar
in
in
his
this.
own shop.
Yeah, there's a bar in this little town I live in, but it's been closed. I've seen it open twice, I think, in 7 years for a month or two, just I guess to keep the liquor license. Now it's been closed up for years, and they're talking about turning it into an antique and secondhand store, but that hasn't opened yet either. But the bar, some
Hello,
miles from
Jason.
here, they had a big shootout at. It's a
Mm.
little hole in the wall bar, and then the bar in the next town over, it's a little hole in the wall bar that you looking on the outside. No, I'm not going in there.
Yeah, not hole in the wall. It's more like holes in the wall bar.
Right, right,
Yeah.
and they're
And,
facing both
Jason,
directions. So yeah,
Jason,
they're blowing both
welcome to
directions.
the chat. I hope you enjoy the stream. That's a new name to me. I don't, Jason. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, Rickman. But yeah, welcome to the Dangerous Freedom Chat Room, where we talk about most things constitutional, and sometimes we just wander off on our own topics, but we try and keep it kind of in line.
Yeah, that night that I heard the big crash, and I got in my vehicle. I didn't have the patrol car at the time. I got my gun and stuff on, and my police hat and uniform, basically what I had at the time, and went to see what the big explosion was around town, and found that girl had run into the bridge from across 4 lanes and the center median and smacked the
Separate card
bridge
up.
and totaled out her vehicle. And she was drunker. She didn't even know what county she was in,
Jeez.
and had open containers in the vehicle. And they actually let her off because of the time it took to get an officer qualified to do breath tests. They actually let her off with, she didn't get a DWI. She got failure to maintain her vehicle and open containers in the vehicle. But the girl was so drunk, she dropped trowel right in front of me and started peeing outside of her vehicle. It's like, oh my God. And then I'm looking with a flashlight, and right outside her window is another ice cold beer can. Well, her dad went to pay her fine the next day with her to the police station, and she told my assistant chief, she said, somebody put something in my drink last night in the bar. And he looked her square in the eye and said, yes, they did, ma'am. Alcohol.
Yeah.
Her dad just told her, shut up. He paid the fine and got her out of there.
And she probably went right back out and did it again. She didn't learn anything
Well,
from
her
that.
dad was pissed. She totaled out a brand new vehicle he just bought her,
Wow.
and he was pissed. Yeah.
Hmm.
Haven't seen her since. She was cute, but she was messed up like Hugh Hooter Brown.
I never got a DUI.
I've had one.
Me,
More luck than
I
that.
got one. I think I was 23, 24. And it is my own stupidity. I mean, I was not driving outrageously or recklessly or anything. In fact, the cops, when they did their field sobriety thing, I didn't fail any of it. It wasn't until they brought out the breathalyzer that, it's like I was over 0.08 or whatever I think that's what it was. But back then it was early enough before they started really enforcing. Now you've got to have these blow machines to start your car, stuff like that. It was long before all that started. And I think it was like $1,500 in fines, and a couple of classes I had to go to, and that was it. And I had to spend one night in jail. And for me, one night in jail is no big thing.
Plenty. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it really isn't. Well, I mean, after you've done a week in jail, one night is a piece of cake. Not to mention, you're going in there for one night. That's just it's part of their thing. You're at least doing one night in jail, and then you got to do the fines and classes. But anyways, I mean,
Yeah.
considering, yeah, it's like wow, it's a lot cheaper, a lot easier back then than nowadays. You get a DUI, you've got to pay for this machine that you have to pay for every month, a couple $100. You got to blow into it. If you don't, if you fail to blow, then it'll stop your car, and it'll
Yep.
fucking beep if you're on a long haul, and that thing goes boop boop boop, and you're like, oh shit, now I gotta blow while I'm driving. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew a boy that had
In
one.
Alaska, friends didn't let friends drive drunk. They got drunk and rode with them.
There you go. Man, remember back in the day when if you lived close enough, the cops would be like, all right, leave your car, I'll drive you home. You can walk up here
Yeah.
tomorrow or have somebody drop you off, and then you can come pick up. Man, you don't find many cops like that anymore. I mean, hopefully they're still out there, but I have not seen one since I was about 18.
Oh man, there was a
In
time, and Moose,
Alaska,
you probably remember this too. The cop would tell you, "Listen, man, go home and don't let me catch you on the road again."
right.
But that was like back in the early mid '70s.
Yeah.
Hey,
Things
Randy.
In
went
Alaska,
fast.
Thank you.
the
Thank you
troopers
for that
used to end
donation.
shift at 11 o'clock at night.
Ah, crap, it's internet.
After
Yeah.
after 11 p.m. at night in Alaska, the troopers were off shift. There was no troopers on duty till 7 o'clock the next morning. So everybody at the bar, they were there past midnight, and everybody drove home drunk. I mean, there's snow on both sides of the road, so if you went off the road, you weren't going to
Yeah.
crash and hurt yourself. You're just stuck in the snow, and they'd get on the phone and they'd call one of their friends to come pick them up, and their car'd be there the next day. They have to get pulled out of the snow, but nobody ever got, people drove drunk. Nobody killed themselves. We didn't have bad head-on collisions because the highways weren't crowded. And then Mothers Against Drunk Driving started their bull crap in Alaska.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it wasn't safe any time after that to drive, and they started this report every drunk driver immediately, the Ready program, and it made it harder and harder
But
to
yeah, I mean, but honestly, how
drive
can you
drunk.
report? How do you know that the person is drunk? And
If
nowadays,
there's
with
you
our cell
swerving all
phone,
over the road.
nowadays with our cell phones, the same damn thing. Actually, I think these are more dangerous than alcohol. And
Oh,
that's
no
Yeah.
doubt, no
yeah,
doubt.
No
I have
doubt.
seen more people do stupid shit on the highways
Right.
because they're too busy watching their phone instead of watching the damn road. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm even partially guilty, because sometimes when I was driving and buying cigarettes on the reservation, I'd have to take the freeway out there, and sometimes I'd be trying to switch podcasts, so I'd have my phone down here and I'd be like, all right, driving, look over here, look down here, try and find my podcast, and you're like, all right, start my podcast, and then I look up and I'm like over in the shoulder, and I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, it's like, and at that point, it's
Distracted
like, all right,
driving.
fine. I'll just put on.
Red's new car monitors you in the lane. And if you cross the lane, even passing, like pulling out and passing a bunch of people, this indicator comes on the right in the center of the dash, says you need to pull over and take a break and have a cup of coffee. And it shows a cup of coffee. It monitors, and I just fired up and left the restaurant, and I'm headed home, but I still had to pass a bunch of cars that were moving slow or turning, and this thing comes up and says, your driving's erratic, basically. You need to take a break and have some coffee. It's like,
My cousin
what the
just
hell,
bought a new
Clark?
Volvo, and it told his wife she needed to pull over and have a cup of coffee. I thought
Yeah.
that was the craziest thing.
And I asked about it at the shop. They said, oh yeah, if you cross it monitors your lane that you're in. So if you pull out and you're zigzagging, it'll tell you you're driving erratic. No, I'm trying to get around damn slow ass traffic.
That's funny.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So artificial intelligence ain't so intelligent. I had
That's
some
No,
true.
it's
coffee right
not.
there with me in the cup holder too.
I know, right? Why don't they have coffee makers installed in these fucking cars now?
So they probably
Coffee,
dump hot
oh,
coffee on
coffee
your
maker.
lap and you wouldn't be able to sue because it's a car that did it and not a human.
Yeah. What about those self-braking cars, man? Those things, those scare the crap
Yeah,
out of me.
I wouldn't like that.
yeah. Well, if it helps save lives, I mean, I'm all for it because some
Well, I
things are
mean, yeah, okay, I could see that, but
we
what if a
can't.
bird flies? What if a bird flies in front of your car, and all of a sudden it's big enough to catch the object, but it's not like a deer or something or another
Right.
vehicle. It's just a bird.
Oh,
And all of a sudden, slam on your brakes, you go off the road, slam into a tree. Now your face is through the windshield.
or somebody
You
hit
know,
you in the ass. I'm more worried about getting rear-ended like that.
Exactly.
People do not maintain their distance anymore. You're supposed to maintain one car length for every 10 miles an hour, and people
yep.
they ride right up on my ass, and I hate that.
I don't
Oh
like it
yeah.
either. I can't
I try
stand
to
that
flick
either.
boogers on their windshield when they do that.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. That's an old biker saying, actually. You
Oh
know,
man, I made this trip last week and I'm doing 5 miles over the speed limit, 75 miles an hour, and I was in people's way.
Yeah.
And you back off from the car in front of you to maintain a safe distance, and here comes some son of a gun right in between you.
yep.
Did you know, Tom, there is a law, a federal law. Damn it. No. Okay. There is a
Right
federal
again.
law that says if a certain percentage, and it's like 85% of the people are exceeding the speed limit on a highway when they do their traffic surveys, the federal government requires you to raise the speed limit on the highway
Oh
instead of
really?
giving it more enforcement. Federal law says if 85% of the people are speeding, exceeding the speed limit, you have to raise the speed limit.
That's crazy.
It's
Well, that
it's
all
the
right. Why
craziest
is the government making laws, anyways? You know, shouldn't this be
I
down
called
to
up.
the states? I mean, because if you
I
go to
called
like
up.
Texas, see, like as
Yeah.
far as like right now in Arizona, pretty much the max speed on the freeway is 65 miles per hour. Now, does that mean people don't go 75 and 85? No, not at all. And most of the time, cops just kind of poo-poo it. It's like, ah, whatever. You know, if they're doing 90 or 100 and swerving in and out of traffic, yeah, that's when people start to pay attention, especially cops. But you know, but then you go out to Texas, you got interstates out there that are 75, so you can go 95 pretty much and still not catch the reckless driving charge,
In
depending on how you're
Virginia, they
driving,
got
what you're
signs
driving.
on the road. The speed limit's 70, 80 is reckless driving. And I'd never
Right.
seen that anywhere before, but I saw that going down through Virginia.
Right. See, they stopped us from enforcing laws on the main highway here because they said we were acting like a speed trap. Well, we never pulled anybody over unless they were doing 10 miles above the speed limit or more. At 10 miles, you're going to get pulled over, and you may or may not get a ticket depending on your attitude.
Right.
At
Yeah.
12 to 15 miles over, you were getting a ticket. At
Wow.
20 miles over, you were getting a big ass ticket.
Yeah.
But they shut us down, so I called DOT
Revenue.
about doing a road survey to find out how many people were breaking the law. And that's when they told me, they said this could backfire on you now because if 85% of the people are speeding, we have to, by law, raise the speed limit another 5 miles an hour.
Wow.
So,
And I wanted to pit Patrick Lee. I was always the kind of person because sometimes I'd have to go down to Tucson and I'd be driving back and it was getting dark and stuff like that. and I always had the habit of, most truck drivers tend to stay in the kind of the slowest lane, which is where I was at because I was stuck there because the Ford F-350 or Ford 1800, I don't even remember it. It was fucking 20 ton, or yeah, it was a 20 ton fucking flatbed, and the thing didn't do more than like 65, 75. Yeah, I could possibly get up to 75 going downhill if the wind was against my back. But I mean, this thing was slow as old. But so the trucks would be coming up and they would pass me, and they'd have their turn signal to be like, hey, indicate, hey, can I get in front of you? And then the old trucker code, you flash your lights a couple of times, and that gives them the sign, hey, you're clear.
Yeah.
Your trailer is clear. Go ahead, get in front of me. And so I've never really ran into too many that run up on my ass. I have not had that one yet. But as far as being respectful to truck drivers, I've always been doing that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I learned not
And
to
I mean,
rap.
I mean, granted, until you've driven a large vehicle like that, um, you really don't understand just how much goes into it. I mean, I've seen guys that are brand new, and they'll be trying to back into a stall so they can unload, and it's like they have to back up, then they pull forward, and then they back up, and then they have to pull forward and back up. And I've met guys that could pull in to a little tiny area, quarter-mile area, and
Whip it
then
right in.
you got two trailers on both sides. You got this one little like 10-foot space, 12-foot space, whatever, in between, and they would just whip that thing around, boom, first time, right in the stall. And I'm like, wow, you've been driving trucks a long fucking time. Shit.
Hey, I'll be right back, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the worst places I've driven has been in Florida on the interstates like I-4 going from Tampa by Lakeland up to Orlando. Them people drive nuts. I-275 down through Florida. Them people are nuts. The interstate that goes through from in Colorado right down through Denver down to Penrose. Them fucking people are absolutely nuts, crazy with their driving. Dallas, Texas, I'm glad I didn't have to drive over there. My buddy drove, and them people are nuts over there. I can't believe um, how people just like to crowd each other and ride bumpers and stuff. And you're doing 65 to 75, some
I know.
places 80
Nope.
miles an hour speed limits.
I
You
never
know,
did that.
and people need
Never.
to spread out, and they can't get in the rocking chair and get in a line of traffic
Well, it's
and
like
run.
Tom was saying, if for every 10 miles you give them a car length. And
Right.
so when I was doing 65, I would usually give them at least 2 car lengths. But, but like Tom said, but then you get these people in their little sports cars, think they're, Mario Andretti, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I can fit in there. And it's like, boom, they slide in there, cut you off. And
Yeah.
then you guys, the ones that really piss me off are the ones that get in there. They get in that little gap, and then they slow down.
Yeah.
And it's like now, because I've got cruise control,
Right.
I usually set it about 78, and that's a fair speed, and anyways, they'll do that, and then all of a sudden now I've got to hit my brakes because of this fucking idiot. That's when I start getting that road rage building up in me. You know what I mean? It's like, you little punk motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fuck, you get
But
in
I
front of
can't
me and slow
understand
down.
why people, yeah, why people don't get in a lane, line up, get your distance, and everybody run. And then all of a sudden, you got all these people that are zigzagging and stuff trying to get ahead. And the next thing you know, you got traffic stopped up ahead because of what some fool did and bumped another car because they couldn't just get in and run with the group. And then if you got to get over, there's plenty of room for you to get over if you're going to get off a freeway or something. Plenty of time ahead of time when you see an exit coming up. These
Yep.
people are freaking nuts. I don't understand. I can understand why
Oh
insurance is
man.
so high now.
Oh dude,
Half
Yeah.
these people shouldn't be driving.
here's another good one. Because down here in Arizona, we got this term called snowbirds. Most people
Yeah.
understand it. It's the older
Yeah.
drivers.
Oh yeah.
Now that
We
could
got
also
'em.
relate to the younger drivers in a lot of circumstances, brand new drivers. But when it's like raining or anything like that, what they'll do is we got like a 5 lane freeway, and they will take up pretty much every single lane except for the HOV one, which is a lot of times where I ended up when those people are out there driving, and they will block all 4 lanes, you know, and they'll be so close. They'll all be going the same speed. One might be, out here. The next one will be like back here, and then the third one will be back here, and but just close enough to where you cannot fit in between them at all to get around them.
Right.
And if the HOV lane is going slow, then you're completely screwed. You're stuck going 55 miles an hour on a 65-mile-an-hour road.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, yeah, rain can be dangerous. Big whoop. It's not as dangerous as snow or black ice, you know? It's like, just get in. They need to make a lane just for these old farts. The
Hey,
new
now I'm an
drivers and
old
the old
fart, but I
That's
farts
a
drive the
little
speed
because
harsh,
limit.
man.
I mean,
I
they
drive
they
the
made
speed
this
limit.
HOV they made this HOV lane with requirements. Between certain hours, you're not allowed to use it unless you've got a carpool going, more than one person. It's like early in the morning usually, between like 7 and 9, and then again in the afternoon between like 3 and 6, or three. Yeah, I think it was 3 and 6. And if they catch you in there by yourself, even if you've got a dummy, people have tried that. People have tried that. Blow up dolls, dummies, mannequins, you name it. They've tried all of it, putting a fake head up there. Oh yeah, God. But you get pulled over, it's like it used to be like $350 a fine.
Wow.
I think it went up to like over 500 now, probably. But
Damn.
but have a lane just for these old farts and these new drivers. It's like, hey, you need to stay in this lane. If you're not going to do at least the speed limit, don't get out of
Move
this
over.
lane.
Yeah. Get the hell out of the way.
Then again, a lot of people get pissed when they're doing the speed limit. Say they're doing 65, 67, and you're trying to do 80 because you're in a hurry for whatever reason. But then they get pissed. But that's their own fault. You know, if it's such a hurry, why don't you just leave the house earlier? If you
Right.
know you've got to be somewhere in 45 minutes and it's only a half an hour drive, but there's traffic, leave an hour ahead.
Yeah. And it's only courteous. If you're not passing somebody, you don't have any business in that left lane anyway.
Yeah,
But nobody is courteous anymore.
not very many.
Yep.
No.
I mean, people like us are, folks like us are, most of us.
Well, we used to ride the left lane here because it was smoother on the Indian Nation Freeway and going down to Texas on
Yeah,
271. It was smoother in the left lane because the right lane's all beat all to hell. So what did Oklahoma
Yeah.
do? They passed a law. If you're not passing, you got to be in the right lane.
Oh, that's a law down there.
Yeah. And Texas the same way. It's a law. You have to stay in the right lane unless you're passing, supposedly, except on the interstates.
yeah, Patrick Lee. Yep. Yeah, and it's like, what kind of hurry are you in? You know, exactly. And even that's how I was. I was already on overtime. And actually, a lot of times when I had to drive from Phoenix to Tucson to drop off crates or materials, um, I mean, you're looking at a whole day right there. So there were a lot of times I was already on overtime and even double time by the time I got back. I mean, there were some days where it was already getting dark outside, like I said. So whatever. It paid pretty good. Double time was especially nice.
No doubt.
Gets dark here at 5:30 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bastards. I
Six,
hate this time
about six.
change.
Well, we're at 7:30. It's been dark for about an hour. Yeah, so about 6:30 for us. But then again, you're in that time change zone.
Yeah.
And for Arizona, we don't change.
Yeah.
It's just all right. So it's becoming winter time. Sun goes down at 6:30. The sun rises at about 7:30. But we don't change our time zone.
Yep, we're still losing
Anyway.
daylight till December 21st, solstice.
Yeah. But that's less
We'll
than a
start
month,
gaining
man. And
daylight
then
after.
things start getting better.
Yep, 1 month from tomorrow is solstice.
Oh, is it?
So the shortest day of the year in the northern hemisphere and the longest day in the southern hemisphere. Yep.
All right.
And December 21st is the actual first day of winter.
Right.
But that's just
always
solstice.
kind
So
of-
then we start gaining light.
Right. And
I'll be right back, guys. Hold
Get her
on.
done. Yeah, that always gets me in a better mood, man, when I know. I mean, you can't tell it, but you know it's happening, that the days are getting longer.
Yeah, but I like it at night. See, I'm up most all night. Lately, I've been trying to go to bed a little bit earlier, but I like being up at night. It's quiet, it's peaceful. I get to see more animals kind of running around outside and that, and watch the dogs sleep. And I sleep more during the day. I don't know. It seems like I just like to be up at night.
I'll tell you
Not
what,
that I'm
here,
afraid of anything.
well,
I go
no, it's-
outside walking around at dark, and looking at the moon. I was watching that. I got some beautiful pictures of the eclipse the other night right off my front porch.
did you get to see that?
Oh yeah, it was right over my head, and I don't know if it'll show up on camera. Let's see here. There's toward
wow.
the end of it,
That's decent.
and then there's.
What time of the night did that
Let's see
happen
if I
for
can
you?
get
I
that
clear
angle.
missed it.
3 a.m. From about
Okay.
2 a.m. till about 4 a.m. And that was, I got some really good. Let me see if I can block the camera here, but I got
What
some
was
really
that?
good shots of the.
Wednesday night, Thursday night?
Oh, you're
What
talking
was
about
it?
the
2
eclipse?
nights ago.
Yeah, the eclipse.
Yeah,
thought
the
that was
eclipse,
Thursday.
yeah.
Thursday. Yep.
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
I got some, like I said, I got some really good pictures of it. That one especially, where you can kind of see the. No, stupid.
You can see the shadow.
You can see the shadow, but you can see the detail on the moon too.
Yeah.
And then that one was when it was red, the blood moon.
Yeah, the one that
But yeah, I
happened the
got
other
pictures
night.
of it. And,
The one that happened the other night, I tried to go out there, and I mean, when I looked up, I could see the eclipse going on, or whatever it was, and I was like,
we
wow.
get another view Sunday night. Tomorrow
But I
night
couldn't.
we get
but
another view of
my
some
phone. I
part
could
of it.
see it. I could see it physically with my eyes, but when I tried to put my phone up there to take a picture of it, it just looked like the moon. And I was like, well, what's the point?
But Sunday night we're supposed to get another bout of an eclipse of some sort too.
Really?
So it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah. And this only happens every 580 years, so it's been a long time since I've seen the last one.
Old as Methuselah, huh?
Yeah, that's very unusual to get an eclipse that soon.
Yeah. Well, this is the Earth shadow in the moon. You know, we get the different
Right.
eclipses, but this was
Up,
the
Sandy.
Earth lining up with the sun and between the sun and the moon, and almost, and it blanketed it in some areas. We still had just a little sliver of light when it was almost fully eclipsed. Just a hair you could see on the sun side.
I couldn't stay up for it. I had just finished a 10-hour drive, and I couldn't stay up that late.
Yep. And 10 hours of driving is like a day and a half.
Getting too old for that shit, Ron.
I know, man. Dude, I'll tell you what, I've been through old. Man, I hated those days when they're like, oh, Tucson, yeah, because we would get jobs all over the state. And they'd be like, oh, we need you to load the flatbed with these crates and drive them down to Tucson. And I'm like, why can't you get the truck driver to do it? And it's like, he's busy delivering crates to Intel. And I'm like, oh, man. And I just, at that point, I knew my day was blown. Me personally, if I drive more than 2 hours, my eyelids are getting heavy. I cannot stay awake to save my life while I drive those long distance. I cannot long distance drive, folks. It's, I have to stop like every pit stop, every truck stop.
Oh yeah, every
Stop
rest
and
stop.
get out, walk around, try and wake up.
I can't
Drink
do that.
another Coke or Pepsi or whatever. Actually, I was drinking Mountain Dew back then, but just anything to try and stay awake. Maybe I should have gone with coffee, but I don't think coffee would have done me any good either. I just
I load a thermos with good rich dark coffee and sugar and cream and a, a, a little igloo cooler with some snacks and stuff. You know, beef sticks, beef jerky, whatever, some instant energy stuff, a few candy bars, and I go. And I'll drive until I need gasoline. I'll get out, stretch my legs, get some gas, maybe get a nice cold drink or something to throw in the cooler or whatever to have, and then I'm on the road. And I used to drive 1,000 miles a day when I'd leave Alaska. I'd
Wow.
drive 1,000 miles before I would stop and maybe get pull over to a rest stop, or I would find a place to spend a night, get a good meal, a motel room, and then back on the road for another few days, just stopping in rest areas to rest after you drive.
get a little strange.
Older, as you get older, it's harder to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes your bladder.
For me, I guess maybe I find driving boring. I mean, granted, I know it's important, but like when you're on the road, you're on an interstate, especially. It's just a straight line, and it's like I'd rather just fall asleep and wake me up when we get there. That's the kind of person I am. I just can't sit there and stay awake.
I'm
I've
always
got
looking
You're a
around
little
because
co-pilot.
I've got to be up and moving. That's the only way I can do it.
I'm always watching the scenery, seeing what I can see, and getting a view of the whole countryside, and I hated out like in
All right, Daniel.
coming back from Oregon and through Utah and that where it's all desert, and Idaho where it's all desert and stuff. That gets kind of boring watching sagebrush.
Yeah. Yeah. Here
I
on
did
the
like
East
it.
Coast, at least there was things to see, mountains and the leaves. You know.
I did like it when I was pulling my little camper trailer because then I could pull in anywhere and get out, lock the vehicle, go back, open the door, climb into bed, and go sleep back there. And
Yep.
I could make me some fresh coffee when I woke up, and then get back on the road again with my little camper trailer. I love that.
You still got it, or did you leave it in Alaska?
No, I got it. It's sitting out in the yard. It needs to be restored. I was going to restore it one day, and it's it's got thousands of miles on it all over Alaska. Been drug up to gold mines, up mountains, and down through mud and rivers and everything else. I've drug that thing. You would not believe where I drug it with my little 4-wheel drive pickup. And then I drove it down the last time through Canada, across when the forest fires in Canada run me clear over to eastern Washington, and I come back and had to double back and go to Portland, and I spent a month in Portland at my buddy's place helping him out while he was injured. And then I took off from there and drove across through into Idaho, stopped and visited a friend, and then across Wyoming, dropped down into Colorado, stopped and visited my cousin in Colorado Springs, had dinner there, and then went on south to a buddy of mine's place in Penrose before making the 2-day run back home to Oklahoma. And so it was quite a trip. I can't go as fast pulling that trailer, even though it's lightweight.
Yeah.
You still, and I had it loaded. I mean, I
What
had
was it? Like a 16-foot?
tons of radio.
It was 16
No, it's about a
footer?
12-foot. It's called a Hunter One. They were made in California. It's a fiberglass shell, and the top has an area that pops up so you can walk around in there. But it's made to hunt out of. It's got windows, and it's got a couch all the way around that makes into a big bed, enough for 3 to 4 people to sleep in. It's got water system. It's got a 3-burner stove. It's got a 3-way refrigerator. It's got a catalytic heater, and
That
it's
sounds
got
cool.
cabinet space and all, and a sink. And yeah, I mean, I found out now they're highly collectible. A lot of them didn't survive because they put too close of a trailer tongue on it, and they weren't stable going down a hill. They'd start flopping. So I cut the trailer tongue off and made a longer trailer tongue and put 2 propane bottles up there to power it. It'll go anywhere now. It pulls just nice. It doesn't flip flop around, and I've got enough
Very
propane
nice.
usually to last me for a few weeks. But Red and I camped in it at the gold mine where we was mining, and it's got an awning that comes out the back, and she set up the table out there, and she sat under there extracting every little tiny flake. She didn't miss nothing where it came to that gold. And I'd be down dredging in the wetsuit down in the pond and in the pit and in the river all day long, and she'd get all the gold from the concentrate out. So we had a good thing going. Spent a month out there doing that.
Yep.
Sounds like fun.
No, I had a buddy of mine. His dad was a truck driver, and he was also a gold miner. So when he wasn't working, he was part of a club, and they had their own private place that only club members were allowed to go to. And they had a giant sluice down there, a giant pump. So I mean, the pump was already set up in the middle of the pond. Actually, I guess you could call it a pond, even though the thing was super fucking deep. And then they also had the sluice up there, and so it's like we go up there, and a couple of times we went with them, and digging through all that stuff, and like you get the little tiny. Yeah, you don't find big nuggets of gold anymore. I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, you get like the little 2 and 3 gram vials. Like we used to buy our drugs in back in the day. But it's like he had them full of little gold flakes, gold nuggets, little tiny ones, but 3 grams of gold.
I would love to do that someday.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Well, in an area like that, there's always a chance you might hit it big. I guess that's what keeps people at it.
Well, I don't know. Arizona we were a big gold mining town back in the day. I mean, look at Tombstone. Right? Look at Tombstone. I think that was a gold mining town. Where was it?
Nevada was too, wasn't it?
Yeah. That whole area was Nevada, California, Arizona, and then see we make this is I don't know if you can see it. See the gold nuggets in that.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me.
Is that what looks like stars?
It's got the Alaska flag, but it's full of gold nuggets.
Huh. Oh, cool.
I see dots. Is that what the gold is?
Look, you can see the gold in there around underneath the flag in the resin.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. on the edges.
Yeah. Well, that whole thing is there's gold all around that flag, gold nuggets in there that we
Nice.
cast into resin. There's about a 1/4 ounce of gold in there. It's hard to see from the light, but there's about a 1/4 ounce of gold nuggets. All that's gold nuggets.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
little tiny ones, but I mean they add up. They add
Yeah.
up over time. But
Yeah, these are well, some are about the size of a sunflower seed, but most of them are smaller.
yep, most are. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of times they're just flakes. Yeah.
And is
Yeah.
that pure gold or is it contaminated with other
Well,
stuff?
it's natural gold, so it can be anywhere from 85 to 92 to 96% gold. But a lot
Okay.
of it'll have a little copper or silver in it. Normally, I found nuggets with actual piece of copper attached. You'll find gold where copper is.
Wow.
So
Well, that's why when they strip mine shit, they're looking for all metals, not just
Uh-huh.
gold, not just silver, not just whatever.
right, and then I've got some gold with a little quartz on it. You'll find a little quartz stuck to a gold on occasion. Um, so it came out of a quartz vein.
Turquoise is a big one too. I
Yeah.
just don't know.
Real turquoise.
I don't even know where you find turquoise, but
Out there in Arizona, there's lots of it found out there in them copper mines and that, where they're mining the Superstition Mountains in that area, that consolidated copper that my uncle used to work for. They found a lot of turquoise. Peridot is a big one out there near Globe. They find a lot of peridot.
yeah, peridot. Yeah, I've seen
That's
those.
that's a semi-precious gemstone. I've got
Yeah.
some samples here from it.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's almost a lime green stone. They're beautiful. Clear.
What's another one we got out here? We got a lot of them. I don't know if it was
Garnets. You got garnets. You got Apache tears.
Apache
Uh,
tears. Yes,
and
they're like
I've
black.
got some.
They're black, but they're like
You can see through them.
yeah, you can this if
Oh,
you hold
really?
up to the sun, you get light through
Yeah.
it.
I've got some big one. I've got a big one of them around here somewhere. A great big Apache tear. Yeah, they're supposed to be good luck.
Well, you know what, guys? It has been a ton of fun, but I think
Oh,
since we are closing in on the 2 hour mark, and I am going to start up my After Dark channel, I need to go take a little break. And anyways, yeah, I'll be if you follow me on Dangerous Freedom After Dark. If so, one of my mods can put that in there. I don't know why I get so much more traffic on that channel than I do over here, but anyways, so I'll be on there. We're a little bit more open for topic, and at that point, I'm more open for other discussions. I allow other people on than just selected guests. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I hope that if you did, you like, share, subscribe, and like I said, I'm trying to do this as a part-time job. So if you got any donations, you can send. Every little bit helps. You send 15, $20. You can order one of my cool little survival bracelets. So anyhow, thank
Thanks
you
for
guys very
inviting me,
much.
Ron.
I'll give you guys the final remarks on the closing. So Moose Man.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. Keep your powder dry. Stay safe. Keep your faith in God strong. He's number one. And again, thank you to the jury in Kenosha for standing up for what was right. It's about time we saw true justice done. And I thank every jury member out there from Kenosha for seeing the truth and doing the right thing, irregardless of what old Harbinger said, who's full of crap. and the worst prosecuting attorney I've ever seen. But congratulations, Kyle. You did nothing wrong. Don't let it bug you. Keep going, brother. Keep going. You have a job here in Oklahoma anytime you want one to guard my ranch. So, everybody, thank you very much. Take care. I'll turn it to Tom.
Moose, pleasure to see you, man. Yeah, old Kyle, I don't think he was a very good EMT because he stood there and watched that prosecution choke and never did a damn thing to try to help. Ron, I appreciate the invite, and I'll catch you later on. Maybe I'll be a little bit wider awake by then.
All right. All right.
Good night, everybody. God bless America.
Everybody in chat, thank you very much for coming by. I know I don't understand why I don't get as much traffic over here, but either way, I appreciate all of you for being here, all the donations and likes and just the pleasure of being in good company. So thank you all for that. Stay safe, and yeah, be looking for my After Dark. It should be up in about 10 15 minutes. Like I said, I just got to take care of a few things, and I'll be right back at it. So,
good night, Patriots.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. Awesome. Thank you. Yep. Every little bit helps. All right. Peace.